Beaming thousands of watts of sound power from Lagos. This is Unilag 103.1 FM, Nigeria's first university radio station. Unilag 103.1 FM, expanding the frontiers of knowledge.
A character worthy of emulation, one who lives an exemplary life, an inspiration to individuals and many others, breaking records and breaking barriers, a legend, a genius, an icon. Icon of the Week, a 15-minute program coming to your airwaves every morning from 9:30 to 9:45 on this dial.
This is Unilag 103, the 1FM station where we educate, inform, and entertain. If you check a time, it's 11 o'clock. We're broadcasting live from the Media Center, University of First Choice, and the nation's pride. Lamu is my name. Like I did say during the TGF show that we'll have a special interview at 11 this morning. We will discuss leveraging collaborative materials efficiency, optimization, and artificial intelligence to empower institutions and organizations. We'll talk about sustainability, how it can be achieved through streamlined creative processes. And I have my guest already seated in the studio. I have with me my boss. It's actually a surprise this morning, one of those who actually believes in my brand. And aside from the fact that she's my boss, we have a good relationship outside the University of Lagos. I have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services of the University of Lagos, Professor Ashenua. Good morning. Nice to have you on board today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay. I have seated to my left-hand side Mr. Adeolu Okulaja with me. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have Mrs. Ibukun Falui. Hope I got the pronunciation of that. Because for every name you fail to pronounce well on radio, it's minus 10,000 naira for my salary. All right. So thank you for coming to the studio. And I have in the studio today Mr. Kane Day in Risomi. Hope I got that correctly?
Yeah, very correctly.
Okay.
Risomi. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And I would leave Mr. Okulaja to do the introduction of a guest that just walked into the studio. I remember she was here last year. We had the robust interview on radio. Can you do the introduction, please?
Yes, good morning, everyone. We also have in our presence our esteemed Professor Modupe Omiri. She is the Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences, University of Lagos.
Okay, thank you. Now let's get into the business for today. For those who are listening back home much later, after my guests must have left the studio, if you have any questions or before they leave, the lines will be open for you to send in your text messages or for you to call into the radio to ask any question. Mr. Okulaja, why are we here? Let's build the foundation before we get into questions, please.
Yes, why we're here is basically to kick off our events for the year. I represent Outline Behind Design Foundation, a foundation set up to promote sustainable development. We were founded basically to coordinate the activities of the United Nations for the celebration of the International Year of Glass 2022. And we have gone further to continue to preach the gospel of sustainability and partner with the foremost university in Nigeria, which is the University of Lagos. I'm also an alumni of the University of Lagos, and I'm very proud to be one of the proponents of sustainability and partnerships for the goals. We have 25 goals for the Sustainable Development Goals that were outlined by the United Nations. And it is our aim that we continue to create and bring forward programs to advocate for the development. Our coordination with the University of Lagos and the United Nations Information Center is basically to bring about topics, programs that advocate and sensitize the general public on issues that would bring about sustainable development. Right now, we're talking about leveraging collaborative materials efficiency optimization in organizations and institutions in Nigeria. That basically means making sure that a product should not be made if it is not thoroughly thought out, so that the impact on the environment is minimized. We have a lot of products out there that are just, made on a whim, and basically it's basically for profits. And we would like to ensure that this is done in a very sustainable way.
Okay, thank you for giving the foundation or giving us a brief into what we're here today. Let me start with the DVC seated to my left-hand side, Professor Ashenua. Now, how can collaborative materials, efficiency, optimization contribute to sustainability goals of institutions and organizations? We'll start from you, Ma.
Well, as we know, sustainability is the only way to go if we're not going to utterly and completely destroy our world and make it uninhabitable for not just us as humans, but for all living creatures. And universities being at the vanguard of knowledge development necessarily must provide leadership, first of all, in knowledge creation. But then what's the point of knowledge creation if we're not applying it to ourselves? And so even within the University of Lagos, we have started, beyond what we're doing through our collaboration with Ackline Beehive Foundation, we also have started to look at the sustainability issues around us. And like has been identified, it's how do we leverage also AI to optimize this? And so we are bringing, and this is only the first of the events, we're bringing together all our scholars, all our researchers, so that we're looking at different aspects of our lives in the university, and we're looking at what we must do to drive sustainability, to change our ways, to change our practices. And we're also looking at how we can deploy AI. We certainly do not want to be left behind.
All right, well said. Thank you for that explanation. Let me come to Mrs. Ibuku now. In what ways does artificial intelligence enhance the creative processes involved in reducing waste for improved sustainability?
Thank you so much for the question. Artificial intelligence, as we all know, is something that is pretty new, but it's something that is extremely useful for our day-to-day, in our day-to-day lives now. We're having it just integrated in almost everything. And even in terms of how waste is managed, it's a very useful tool, especially when we look at very advanced material recovery facilities. AI has been leveraged extensively to do a lot of sorting of waste and what have you at that level. But beyond that, in the design process of our product, because like you say, we're talking sustainability here, and so we need to start thinking of how these products are manufactured at the design stage. AI is going to be extremely useful for us in leveraging products or materials that are not going to, will have minimal negative impacts eventually. So in terms of how we improve, how we infuse materials, use different materials in a way that is more sustainable and it's more manageable at its end of life, AI is going to be useful in ensuring that we achieve that.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. For those that have just tuned your radio, this is Unilag FM 103.1 live from the University of Lagos, leveraging collaborative materials efficiency, optimization, and artificial intelligence to empower institutions. Now, Mr. Kulaja, let me put this to you. Can you provide specific examples of organizations that have successfully leveraged data-driven decision-making for sustainability in their operations, please?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Like it has been mentioned before, artificial intelligence, AI, is more or less ubiquitous now in our lingua. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that Nigeria as a whole has taken full advantage of these strides. But it's important to note that the products that we are very familiar with, let's take, for example, Tesla. Tesla is, first of all, a technology company before it is a transportation company or car manufacturing company. And they have, really used AI in a very unique way. They have used artificial intelligence to optimize the design of their vehicle batteries. And they couldn't have done this without artificial intelligence. It would have been impossible. And we see this, evidence in the strides they are making. They are in the foremost, frontier of vehicle manufacture. And every other vehicle brand is following in their footsteps. We have an opportunity here to leapfrog, the West and, take advantage of everything that they have learned, but use it in a unique way and localize our own services here. We can use it in transportation, we can use it in our packaging, we can even use it in our services, supply chain management, which is the world is our oyster, really, in this space. But particularly, we need to bring to bear the real essence of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is based on computer programming. And we need to encourage computer programming in our universities. We need to encourage our students, the young ones at an early age, to take an interest in computer programming so that they can now be real players in the artificial intelligence space.
All right, thank you. We'll just take a 30 seconds break. When I return, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay tuned and keep it locked.
Everybody say them they go their way, but I notice say we dey block each other way. Lie, you no go hear the people say now ignorance they make it life go hard. Yeah. Some they talk and some they walk, and time just they pass us by. Every woman they look for mine.
Welcome back. It's still the first campus radio station in Nigeria. Lamo's my name. And like I did introduce earlier, it's all about leveraging collaborative materials, efficiency optimization, and artificial intelligence to empower institutions and organizations. All right, joining me in the studio, as introduced earlier, I have Professor Omire to my right hand side. Prof, the question I want to ask you, what challenges do institutions face when implementing collaborative approaches for materials efficiency, and how can they overcome them?
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here in this conversation. First and foremost, the problems that institutions face include those of ensuring that there is a meeting of the minds with regards to the real focus of what needs to be investigated through research and what needs to be collaborated upon to bring about the needed changes. Another challenge is the area of when the solutions are brought about and things are suggested for implementation, how to get the funding, how to get the right people, the right platforms to get the ideas that are generated, deployed for actual use.
Okay.
This becomes quite a challenge that institutions need to really work out in order to make the difference that we need to make generally in the environment.
Okay, thank you for that, Ma. Coming to Mr. Kehinde, how does streamlined creative processes impact overall sustainability, and what role does technology play in facilitating this, please?
All right, thank you for that question. Basically, I want to mirror that to what the modern bank is doing today. That was so fortunate that we have the financial institutions basically that are actually involved in terms of bringing some things into play aside to what is obtainable in the era of traditional banking. The importance of banking institutions today cannot be overemphasized in terms of contribution to sustainability, so to say. And that is where we're talking about the green financing and investment. Today, banks bring on board, they offer services and products, basically that support, that is focused on environmental friendly initiatives, on initiatives that are, sustainable in such a way that if you want to get, loan from any bank today, there is a portion what we call, environmental and sustainable aspect where, you emphasize on the importance, on the sustainability of, the project, you are doing. And if you fall short below 60 to 70%, you will not be granted. And that is why, it is important that every institution, as like bank, for example, include that sustainability goals in such a way that projects that you are focusing on, projects that you are financing, encompasses sustainability. And that also talks about using AI to understand customers' behavior. Then you know what product you need to bring on board. For example, like what we're doing in where I work, we're trying to understand particular trend of a certain demography in such a way that will bring product that will know that it suits this particular demographic in such a way that we know it offers, it meets their need basically. So in that regard, there is sustainability in place, and then you focus basically on how that can be developed, and then sustainability is pursued.
Okay.
100%.
All right. Thank you for that. Before I come to Mr. Okulaja now, let me come back to Professor Ashenua. How can stakeholders, including employees and consumers, actively contribute to the success of sustainability initiatives driven by collaborative processes, etc.?
Okay. Everybody has a role to play, big or small. And I think that the very first thing that needs to be done is assist people to see how they can come in, even in the small and little things that they do. So let's talk about consumers. We also need to be debriefed of thinking that certain materials are superior to the other, and embrace the use of environmentally friendly, recyclable, sustainable materials. And so there are many things that we used to use natural products for. So for example, we used to use the leaves to wrap things. We used to use a lot of paper. The other day I was talking about how when I was much younger, you carried your bag, which you were tended to be made of raffia, to the market. And, you just had newspaper to wrap things and everything. So as consumers, we need to understand that when the plastic was being sold, it was being sold as though it was superior. And I remember there was a denigrating, because I can remember you'd get to the market, and if a trader was going to package anything for you and put it in the paper, you'd ask, don't you have the nylon? And things like that. So we've got to recognize, so as consumers, and then, also in the marketing strategy that seems to suggest, that, it's use and discard and everything is like, look, why are you still using that? It's old and everything. We need, first as consumers, also to be willing to embrace and give priority. So there are some people who will say, I do not use some products except I understand how the company is actually environmentally friendly, sustainability inclined? What strategies do they take it back for recycling, and all of those things? And what do they do, to ensure that sustainability is supported, not just through the production process, but also through the consumption process and then post-consumption if there's going to be disposal?
Okay, thank you for that, Professor Ashenua. Now, Mr. Kulaja, can you share insights on the intersection of data-driven decision making and sustainability?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. It's a very important question. I would like to give maybe a few examples of real-world situations, but I will take an excuse at least to mention some global companies that we are all familiar with. I'll give you an example of Procter & Gamble. They had a challenge that was aimed to reduce waste in their manufacturing process. And this could only be done if they had the capacity to collect the data within their supply chain and also during their manufacturing process. And what they implemented was they created AI algorithms to optimize their production, which resulted in a significant reduction in waste and improved the overall sustainability of their products. We also had a company in the United States, which is Walmart. Walmart had a challenge that was aimed at minimizing its environmental impact across its own vast supply chain. The solution was to utilize collaborative tools and artificial intelligence for inventory management, reducing overstock and waste, resulting in sustainability metrics that was improved for it. We also have a company like IBM, which had a challenge to seek its optimization of its data centers. The solution was to implement an AI system that would dynamically adjust cooling and power usage, leading to substantial reduction in energy consumption and increased sustainability of their facilities. We also have a company like Unilever, which had the challenge of improving its sustainability in its packaging process. They integrated collaborative design processes with AI-driven solutions to create eco-friendly packaging, reducing environmental impact while maintaining product quality. All these case studies show how various companies across different industries have successfully employed collaborative materials efficiency optimization and artificial intelligence to enhance sustainability in real-world scenarios. Which is one.
All right, thank you for that. It's still Unilag FM. For those that have joined the conversation, we're broadcasting live from the media center of the university. And I still have about 2-3 more questions before we wrap up today. Let me now invite Mrs. Ibukun. Please kindly come to my side here. Please come to my side for the next questions. Are there any notable, or maybe I should put this to you, how can, or what are the benefits, or what benefits have organizations observed after adopting artificial intelligence in their efforts to enhance sustainability? Would like you to share with us.
Okay, there are notable and lots of benefits that comes with using AI. Like I've mentioned before, in terms of material recovery facilities where AI has been used to separate products, we found out that the tonnage in the waste that can be managed right now has improved significantly. So instead of you doing the physical sorting where people will have to be separating materials, and it's not as productive as when you use AI to enhance your recycling capacity by using AI to sort different products at scale. Another very important activity that has done is it has also helped people to have material efficiency in terms of their product development. And I like to use Philips as a good example. Philips has, with the help of AI in recent times, been able to improve their product designs in a way that the products are now more repairable, and their products are now more recyclable. That has a lot of economic benefits because in terms of sustainability, I associate their brand with sustainability. And if I want to buy electronic products, I'm using that as an example because of our own background as EPRON, E-Waste Producer Responsibility Organization. So what can we do in that respect? If I'm going to recommend any product, I'll tell you, oh, why don't you do Philips? Because this is what the product has to offer in terms of their household goods. So its economic benefit is good reputation, is stakeholder satisfaction, that the different stakeholders associated with an organization will have when the organization is striving to move in that direction. It enhances their competitive advantage generally.
Okay, beautiful. Before I move to Professor Mary and of course DVC and Mr. Kende in the studio, quickly, Mr. Kulaja, are there any notable case studies where institutions have achieved significant improvement in sustainability through the integration of technology-driven solutions? Before we wrap it up.
Yes, I think I would like to come home on this aspect. We have several institutions in Nigeria, notably Better Glass, Nigeria. We have also all the companies associated with EPRON, which is the extended producer responsibility society that was formed. Better Glass on its own recycles glass. They are the foremost manufacturers of glass bottles in Nigeria, and they are the manufacturers of the popular the brands that we use for our soft drinks. They have a facility. They have 3 facilities in Nigeria where they take cullet, which is broken glass, and they make it into whole bottles again for reuse into our economy. This is a very significant achievement for a company in Nigeria where we know that there are a lot of challenges with infrastructure, particularly electricity and the required manpower to have this done. And that is what we're trying to preach here, that we need to develop what we call the circular economy, that there is no material that is wasted, and all materials can actually be optimized for their use. In the case of the new material that we're going to produce, we should make sure that they're designed in such a way that they will come in components, and then when they reach their end of life, they can be taken apart and used in other institutions. Our aim is to work with all institutions involved in the development and optimization of materials, because it is in the efficiency, in trying to get the efficient use of a product or a material, that you will have innovation. And that is the only way that we can drive development in this country that we call Nigeria. Okay,
not the country we call Nigeria, our country, all right? Quickly, let me move to Professor Marie now. What advice would you give to institutions aiming to embark on a journey towards sustainability through the utilization of collaborative materials efficiency? From you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I'd like to advise institutions to explore the possibilities of further collaborative investigation of possibilities, and to deploy technology as much as resources allow for them to be able to achieve demonstrable results that people can see and thereby buy more into the whole ideas that are being disseminated. Apart from that, it would be a very good idea to have the results disseminated in such a manner that everybody can identify with new findings and thereby invite fresh interests from various organizations and stakeholders that might want to look further into these issues. That's what I'd like to put forward.
Okay, thank you, Professor Marine. Finally, Professor Ayodele Ashenua, your advice, what advice would you give to institutions aiming to embark on a journey towards sustainability through the utilization of collaborative materials, efficiency optimization, and artificial intelligence?
I will say invest in research, develop curriculum, and, partner. You've said it, it's all about it's all about collaboration. It's all about collaboration. And so I will say, reach out to end users, companies, and let them get to, and also I will say to industry, invest in research. Invest in research that helps you to look at how your products can be better developed and things like. And in the same way, I will say to the institutions, open up to industry collaboration, and move away from research as an end in itself. Research, for our researchers to move away from research just to prove that I have found this, and whether it's taken up becomes immaterial. The end of research is development. So I will say research and more research. Invest in research. And when we say collaborative research, I mean industry, academia driven research. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kulaja. I think you should do the vote of thanks to appreciate everyone that has contributed on the show today. Your time starts now, Mr. Kulaja, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for everyone for making this this event. I would like to first of all appreciate the beautiful Professor Ashenwa. She's the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, University of Lagos. I also want to thank our beautiful Dean of Environmental Sciences, University of Lagos, Professor Modupe Omiri, and also representative of EPRON, which is Ibukun Faluyi. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our partner, Globus Bank representative, Mr. Otumba Irisomi, for joining us. I represent Alkaline Beehive Design Foundation, a foundation specifically set up to encourage the use of glass in all facets of the society, and also to advocate the advancement of the glass and material science in our society. We aim to use this platform as a springboard to our event that we're going to be having at the University of Lagos later on in the year, specifically April 26, 2024. And we would like to invite all the stakeholders to join us so that we can come up with innovative solutions to the challenges that we face here in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
All right, that's how far we can go with the conversation today. I want to thank everyone in the studio out of their busy schedule for coming to the radio station Unilag 103.1 FM. Until next time, have a beautiful weekend. And once again, permit me to say a happy new year. Bye for now. I'm Michael Oladimeji Lamu. Good morning.
Diribusa.